Hey, welcome to the FlutterFlow live stream. I think it's the seventh of the year. I will be all alone today. Will came down with some sickness, so he is out. And I will. Joseph, good to see you from Twitter. You had some really good questions. Thanks for responding to my query earlier this week. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. So since you're the first one here and we're waiting, I guess I'll just set up what we're actually going to go over. But I do want to address your question. One of your questions was, how do you usually, what's the process for building a project in FlutterFlow? Where do I start from? What do I do before I dive into FlutterFlow? And I think that's an important question, not only for me and you, but for everybody building in FlutterFlow, because it's a whole product level, product lifecycle really process. So establishing those standard operating procedures for success is very important. So, but beyond that, I wanted to build a custom calendar widget. There was a few tweets. I'll try to bring it up here as people are pouring in, more or less. Hopefully, people will pour in. Let's see who actually asked for this. Glenn Hobbs, no. It was actually Caden Burleson, maybe. CFC Harry. That's who asked for it. So, yes. Oh, dude, this is so good. Carol, Steve, thanks for joining. Steve, I know you had also responded to that that query, and I'll try to address some of those questions. But yeah, today I would like to build a sort of a custom no code. I'm going to build a custom no code calendar, right? You can build custom widgets within FlutterFlow. There's a bunch of calendar ones that are very robust that you can get. So today I just want to build, and I'm going to showcase it. So I'll share my screen. I'm actually just going to move questions here, and I'm going to share my screen. So hopefully I can always see the chat. So I'll share my screen here. We're going to showcase how to build sort of a custom, how to basically just build out custom calendar widget so that you can actually showcase tasks, dates, indicators. So this is the beginning of something. I was just trying to see what is actually possible. And I did it all straight from a custom widget. It doesn't look much different than the calendar widget we have currently in FlutterFlow. But under the hood, since it's custom built, you're actually able to get in there to the UI and edit all of these and actually like query query tasks. So this is a task management app. So we're going to be able to see sort of what my tasks are for the days, and we'll see indicators of how many tasks or if tasks are due on those dates. So so that's what I would like to build out during this live stream. Please forgive me if I don't share my screen always. And also I would definitely see this less as a tutorial, more as a build with me structure. So I won't be able to, lay out every single thing I do. I will try my best to do that. But yeah, so two of the things that I'm doing, the way I'm generating these date times is through a custom function. So, and I'm going to just remove this. I'm going to start from the beginning again. So I'll essentially just remove all of my work and we'll recreate those custom functions so that you guys can see how I sort of create those custom functions. So in this view, maybe I won't remove it. Maybe I'll just go over it. You guys tell me what's more beneficial. All I did was utilize our Copilot to sort of generate some custom functions. So what I did was I'm grabbing the month view. So for that long list of month, I wanted to grab all of the date times within this month, right? And so actually this one is more robust than what I had before, but I just said, I asked the Copilot to calculate the current month and return in a list of date times with the current date. So I feed it the current date, right? here. So March 7th, we could add a test for next month, let's say. So April. Yep, that works. Whoa, that's really busted. Yes. And then it's going to just return a list of date times. So 30, more or less. I mean, this one is, what it's doing is it's actually return. This would actually be very good for a grid view calendar because it's actually returning all of the dates within the weeks. So this is returning, February 25th, 26th, 27th, right? So you can actually do that in a grid view. Same thing down here. I think it's going all the way into May. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just utilizing this custom function for get month view. And then what I would like to do, so this is sort of like math equations, right? I always thought as a kid, I could just solve the problem, So I did the first equation and I was like, yeah, it's done. It's solved. I didn't realize I had to do like 3 equations to get to the point of actually solving the issue that I needed to. So I wasn't a math whiz. I apologize. But it's very similar in code, right? We are basically building out these custom functions that allow you to do other things. And then we're going to build stuff on top of that. So on this is what we just reviewed was in this month view. We're just showcasing, we have a list view here. We're doing current month, right? We're getting that current month. And then we're feeding in the current date time. Okay. And we can actually see that in our test mode here. So I'm going to do a new test mode so you guys can see that. Ooh. Yes, the video is stuck. It is definitely stuck. Let's see. Now you can see my mirror. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and share test mode. All right. We can reload this and we'll see that. Okay. Well, so I probably just need to do a new test mode. So this is that month view. So Sunday, Monday, right? This is sort of the beginning. And what we can do, right? This is cool. All we're doing is a custom function. So there's no backend calls yet. But let's go ahead and try to make this functional. Okay. So we'll do that. We're going to share. All right. Cool. Let's go ahead and share this. I apologize, guys. I'm like out of live stream muster, Okay, let's see. Custom functions. So in this one, let's do this week view first. The month view is, let's just do this week view first. So what I want to do is I want to feed in the current week here. And the way I'm doing that is I'm getting a week view. So here, again, custom function, I'm returning a list of date times and I'm feeding it the current date, okay? All I did was define the current week, return a list of date times based on the current date, all right? Did that in Copilot. And now again, I'm getting, right, we're gonna see the 21st and we'll run this test. I'm gonna just screenshot that. That is nasty. I don't know why that's the case. But this is going to return 7 days. So as you can see here, 318, right? It's going to return that weekly view. And all we're doing is feeding it a date. So I'm in this row, I'm doing a generate from children. Oh, that's why we don't have that. Okay. Let's go ahead and in our first row, let's go ahead and generate from children. So let's remove that first. I have this container, and in it I have a date time, two text elements, column, right? And in this row, we just want to generate these children from that custom function. So current week, you can name it whatever you like. Let's go ahead and get not next week. We want to get week view, perfect. And then the current time here. All right, and we're just going to save that. Cool. All right, and then what I'm doing here is I'm feeding in. So I'll just remove these just so we can see what it looks like to actually hook it up. So let's go ahead and center align these text elements so they're always there. So in this text, we have this current week item, and yeah, that's all I can zoom in actually. Let's see if I can make this screen bigger. Okay. All right. Well, let's just, in this text element, we're going to do this current week item, and let's go ahead and do a date time format. And we want just the day. So we don't just have the number of the day here. So what I will do is I will do a custom format, and I will just do day. So I'll just put D there. Same thing here. So let's go ahead and do current week item. Oh, I need to, before I do this, I'm just going to get another test mode up and running. Be beneficial. We're going to do current week item, date time format, and instead of EEE, I think just custom and EE. I think that's what we had before. Actually, we can see. Yes, it is. And it worked. So on this current view, we are getting the current week. So these are going to be 7 days, right? It'll start March 3rd and end March 9th. And then on this view, we should get, this is the second page view, right? We should also get sort of the next week. So starting on the 10th, or actually I think it's to the 10th, and then the 11th. This will be the 11th through the 17th, right? Something like that. So as test mode is up and running, as it's getting up and running, we will try to do the next step, right? Which is create a view here where we can actually select these and view dates, view tasks for that day. So, okay, cool. Thank you guys. Holy cow, we have 140 people. We really have 140 people? Awesome. Thank you guys for joining. I hope this makes sense. So let's go ahead. Test mode is almost up and running. But let's go ahead and query, right? We're going to query our tasks, okay? So the way we're going to do that is on the container. And again, this is me sort of building, right, as I'm doing this live. So I'm building this live. Please forgive me if anything doesn't work or if we have to solve problems. That's just a thing that has to happen. So, all right, let's go ahead and query document. We're going to add a query here, and we're going to query tasks. We're going to do a single document, right? Or single document. Yeah, let's go ahead. We'll do a list. We'll do a count of documents, right? We're going to filter to that day. Okay, so create a time due date, right? Relation to equal to week item. Perfect. All right, so what we're doing here is we are querying a document count, but we are filtering only for if due date equals this date. So if it doesn't, we're not going to query it. So we don't get reads and writes and all that stuff. Well, we won't get reads because it's not going to query anything. But this will give us the ability to showcase the count of tasks due this day. Okay. And then we can do another query down here. And if I had thought about this, maybe we could do this differently and save some queries, but this is going to be absolutely fine. So we'll save that. And we are in test mode. It is sort of getting up and running. GCP has been having some issues. I think GCP has been having some issues today. We've been having some jittery stuff, so test mode is affected by that. But I hope it works, and I hope I'm not blurry or cutting in and out all over the place. So, all right. So with that query, we have a query here, and then if that count exists, so what we could do is we could wrap this in a badge, or we want to showcase that, right? Or we could do dots underneath here. So let's go ahead and do let's do a row here, right? And in that row, we could just do a few containers. And that container, I just want it to be really small, right? So like 12 pixels. And we'll make it primary. And then what we'll do is we will center align that. And so what we're going to do is if the count equal more than 1, right, we can showcase this down here. Or we could showcase these dots. So it just depends on how you want to do that. But let's go ahead and say, I'm going to do multiple dots. So if there's one task, it'll be that. If there's more than one task, maybe we'll show like 2 or 3. So let's make them even smaller. And let's go ahead and name them. I'm going to say event 1. We're going to do some spacing here. We'll do event 2 and event 3. Okay. So the 3 dots, we'll just do like more than, if the count equals more than 3, equal to or more than 3. So now we can do some conditional visibility on this guy. And we'll say single condition, task count, right? Equal to or greater than 1. Perfect. And same thing here. We'll just do conditional visibility, and I'm just copying and pasting that and then just changing this value here. So hopefully this is easy for everyone. 3. Perfect. Okay. Now test mode is up, so let's see if this actually works. And then we'll actually just we'll dive into creating some tasks and seeing if that works, because that's the idea. We want due dates to associate with the calendar view, and then to see if things exist. I think this is a really cool pattern as well in calendars that we actually just don't provide. So right now we don't have any. We are querying here because you saw the loading element, but we don't have anything on the due date. So let's see if we can edit the task, change these. Oh, I did this, and which means I can't edit the task actually. So we'll just create a new task. Let's go ahead and do that. New live stream task. This is great. Let's select the due date to be Friday the 8th, and live stream, we'll just create that task. And I'll come over here. Okay, Friday the 8th, we're not getting that, possibly because we need to reload. So let's go ahead and try that. And see, we may have done that test mode before we implemented these. So let's see. Okay. Not yet. All right, so we are not getting them quite yet. All right, we are querying. Let's see if let's see what we're doing and if we can do something better. So due date equals current week item. Let's see if current week item. All right, we're only getting that current week item. Okay. We sort of need a date time, possibly. Due date, ignoring two values. Let's see, what are we doing here? Sorry, I was just in here checking, and let's see, tasks count equals greater than or equal to 1. Yes. Let's see if we can just add a column in here to give us the ability to see. We'll add 16 pixels padding, add a little border here. This is just me trying to troubleshoot, see if we have anything. We are querying this, so it's a little interesting that we're not getting that. Container due date. I'm thinking it has to do with this filter. I don't know if the current week item has a date associated with it. So we'll see, even though we're getting the date, so it should. Well, let's go ahead and see. All right, we're gonna reload and come over here. So the idea would be that we can see that. Okay, so this is working. This is definitely not working. Definitely not working. All right. Well, let's go ahead and try a different query then, because that one's not working. So let's come back over here and let's do something different. Tasks, single document count. I mean, that does make sense. This due date equal to I really want something beyond this current date time. If anybody has any way a user could select already booked time slot. Let's see. All right, well, let's focus on something else then. How does that sound? Let's focus on selecting a date time and showcasing, an element here. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and do a query here. And that query could be set. Well, first, let's set a page date. So on our page date, we want to be able to select a date because that's what you can do in the current calendar view, right? You can select a date, and I'm going to just stylize this. You can see that date list of items. So we want to showcase, items associated with that date time here. And I want to just add in a little bit of styling to these containers so that when we select these, it doesn't look terrible. So we're going to add some border radius here, 8. Okay, let's go ahead and add a page state here. That page state is going to be selected date, and that will be a date time. Here, we're going to confirm. Okay, and then we can do some conditional styling on this container if that page state is the same as this selected date. So let's add a secondary background here, a color there. Let's do a conditional sort of build, and the condition will be selected date. Oh, let's spell correctly. Selected date equals to current week item. Hoping we don't run into this same issue. We will definitely know. This is the border. Yeah, so we're doing border. If not, we're going to do secondary, and we're going to just copy that over to our background color as well. We'll do something a little bit different. And again, all we're doing here is we want to select different days and then showcase them down here. So to show that we're going to select and change, what I'll do is I will provide a column here, and we will set, right, some of these same issues. We're going to set a text and another text, and we'll do this selected day. So here I will say selected date. We will add a little bit of spacing. We will stylize it a little bit, and we will do, let's see, page date, selected date, date time format. We have D. Let's go ahead, D, and then maybe just the date time, or we could do an actual date time format. So let's do that, and we'll do Thursday, March 7th, or no, actually March 7th, 2024. That works because we're already saying Thursday up here. Okay, we'll do that, and we'll do this little guy. Okay, and then we want to, this is going to provide a null error if the date isn't selected. So let's go ahead and set on page load. Let's set the page date. So update page date, because we'll want to do this anyways. Selected date equals current date. Okay. Current time. Perfect. So whenever you come to this page, you should, the current day should be selected up here. It should show down here. And then what we have to do is we want to click this and update. But let's make sure, let's go ahead and check our changes. So let's do this. And let's hot reload. Holy cow. All right. Carol, I'll double check. Yeah, I'll have to double check. The due date, Carol's asking if the due date is passed correctly, because maybe it's not. Or maybe it is associated with a different time format. Maybe it's UTC instead of Central. All right, cool. We have our selected date. We don't have this selected though. We're not doing our conditional styling. So we are having problems with this guy. All right. Let's see if we can update that. Let's update our page state here. Update page state. Selected date. Set value. Current week. Yeah, we need to grab something from there, which is annoying because we're not getting it. We are not getting it, which really sucks because let's see. Yeah. Because everything else was working so well. All right. Let's go ahead and instant reload. Beetlejuice, I hope that this live stream is not a total failure so that you can have a good first experience. Let's see. Yeah. All right. We're selecting. So all I did was I updated this. I updated this little guy. When I click this, I'm updating the page state and I'm updating the page state to the current week item, which is good. And it works here. It is very weird that it does not work here in the styling. So selected day equals to current week item. I don't know. Maybe we copy this. Maybe we do it the opposite way. Current week item equals page state. Let's try that. And again, this is what I mean by this is not a tutorial. So this is a build with Andrew session where we fail and try and, do some fun stuff. So all in all, at the very least, maybe we can get it cool. Maybe we do something where it's not a count here, but something else. Or we could just query the documents. All right. Or maybe it's a due date issue. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. We are in test mode. Let's go ahead and share this screen. So we have this selected state. We're good there. We're still not getting our issues here, which is sad. Because this only gives us the functionality that we have in the current calendar widget. So let's see what we can do. Let's see if we're actually getting our tasks in. So we have a due date Friday, March 8th. That's good. Maybe we create a few of these. Test. Ninth. Hello. Live stream. Create a task. We'll create some tasks for next week. I think the issue is our weekly sort of progress is not happening. So we are just not seeing that. Yeah, we're just not seeing that. Interesting. Okay. Now we're gonna have to take a different tact. Because we have a lot of people here. So, all right. Let's try this. month view. I did this all earlier just to double check that I was really making sure this worked, and it's not. We have a date time. Okay, now we're getting date. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting date time format. Let's go ahead and do that. And let's select, right? Let's see, Thursday, March 7th, right? Selected day is equal to selected date. And let's see if we have date time format. Nice. Okay, here we go. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry, guys. Now I'm sharing my screen. Typically, we have somebody helping me or with me, co-hosting. So what I did was I moved the current week item up here. And then instead of no further changes, we are going to do the date time format. And we're doing the option Thursday, the 3rd, 3/7. You can do it whatever format you wanted to. And then on this selected date, we also get this date time format. And so we will do that same. So I think it's MED, Thursday E7. Okay, let's see if we can do that. This may work. This really may work. Because currently, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and change this to our current week item, date time format, and again, MED, and then page state, selected date, date time format. This is what happens when you don't have a developer doing this stuff. This is all very logic oriented. Still doesn't. Maybe we need to. Maybe why we're not doing this is because we're just not able to select this. Yeah, we're just not able to select that for some reason. Okay. All right. Okay. Now let's try this. We'll share this tab instead. And essentially what we're checking for here is the selected state of the date. So we are updating the page state and we're showing that page state, which is quite easy. But what we want is selected date, right? We have this and it shows down there. What we do not have still is that, but if you wanted just a custom week view, I guess, you could, we haven't updated those to do that. And then we could have selected days or our tasks for that date here. And so what we can do is come back to our page. I'm going to remove our padding on this guy and our border radius, and we'll just expand it. Yeah, that way we can bring in some tasks. So I'm going to do this list view of tasks. I'm going to bring it over to our, we have our main calendar here. And then we can showcase those tasks for the day. So let's do that. Right now, what I want to do is I want to wrap this container. This is all just UI stuff, like UI changes, just so you guys know. Right now I'm getting issues because this guy, something is probably expanded. Oh, it's primary. Let's make it shrink wrapped and unexpanded. Let's wrap this column in another column because I want to move this list view so that we don't have padding on it. I don't want the padding on it. And I want, this column to actually scroll. So we probably won't have a lot of tasks, right? So we can definitely scroll these. We can also just remove this stuff if we needed to. But in this view, what we want to do is we want to showcase just the tasks, right? We're going to filter just tasks associated with the selected date above. So we have this, we're going to query collection. And we're going to say tasks, list of documents. Yes. We're going to filter this. And we're going to say a due date, right, in relation to, equal to page date, because it's going to be the selected date. There you go. And we should be good. We're going to order by, well, yeah, I guess we'll just order by due date and decreasing. Because if there's a time, we don't even need that. Definitely not due date. I guess by name, we'll do that. All right. We'll just confirm that, and we'll pass that little document ID in. This is sort of a sample app built from an example app we have in. Let's see, item task reference. Yes, that's all we need. Okay. Yeah, this is an example on our homepage on our website. So just to give you an idea. All right, let's do that. Let's see what our collection comments tasks. Yes, we can do that. So we'll just deploy these rules. Okay, cool. And I am sharing. That's great. I really wish this was work. So we will try to, let's see if we can undo this condition. Task count, yes. We don't need number format. Greater than or equal to 3. Yeah, I'm just not getting any of these. So I'm wondering, there's an issue. So we'll try that, but let's see. We have this task view. So as we update this, we should be able to see the tasks underneath, which is great. And that's, again, how the current calendar widget works. But this provides a little more styling. So if you want to update the UI, right? If you want to create a sort of a custom week view or week view and next week view, then this works. Yeah, we have this test view, Saturday, yeah, this filter is not working because the index has not been deployed yet. So we're still waiting on this to be deployed. But the idea would be you select this and this sort of expands. So let's go ahead and let's do a little bit of a fun animation here on this calendar widget, since that's what we have working. We can say, we can make this container implicitly animated, right? Ease in, ease out, maybe 200. And then we can, let's see, on, well, really we want width. So yeah, never mind. We're not going to do that. This will make the fading animation easy. So that will definitely help. And then we're still waiting on that index to deploy. We have the name decreasing. We could just, I guess we could just remove this. We don't need that. We'll just have, well, let's just, since that other one was already deployed, let's go ahead and keep it. We'll just keep it. And we'll just wait for it to deploy. Decreasing. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's do another thing, because we have this month view, and we could essentially try to do the same thing where we showcase, and what we did here was a count. So let's go ahead and do this, because this does work. I have done it before in the month view, where I'm just seeing like how many tasks there are for each day. So on a month view, where you have dates, right? You can have a count, or you can see a status if something is active. So let's go ahead and try something like that. We want to wrap this column in a row, right? And then we can add a little container. We'll do the same thing. We'll just make it 44. And in this row, we will space in between. And I'll add padding on the row itself so I can remove it from this column. Okay. And then in this guy, we'll place a number. All right. And what we'll try to do is we'll try to query the document here. Instead of doing the count, we'll try to query just documents, and we'll just show the number of items. How does that sound? We'll do some conditional visibility, I guess. So we'll do another text element, and we'll say no tasks. Okay. And all right. Yep. Let's go ahead and query. Let's see if our test mode is up and running for our week view, maybe. See that? No, it's not, because our test mode, we need a test mode. So that's what we'll do. Okay. Joseph, sorry, I was told I'm not able to give any sneak peeks, but the new features will be announced today and launched today. So that's the idea. Okay. I'm going to just continue building, even though I'm failing at this miserably. In this month view, let's go ahead and query a collection here. So we'll do that, query collection, and we'll do tasks again. We'll do a list of documents, not necessarily what you want, but it works. All right. If we wanted to click in and see something, you could do that. And actually we could do this on the actual container, and then we can make it expandable, and then you can see the tasks for that day, but we can always move it. So let's do filter, due date equal to current month item. I'll do that, and we'll just try. We will do our number of documents here. We then get number of items. It's perfect. Okay. All right. Yes. And then actually we want, just like I said, right, we want to move this container up to the parent container. So we have this container. Let's do that, because if there's nothing that exists, so if no documents exist, we will hide this. So task documents, number of items equal to 0. Oh, sorry, not this one. We want greater than or equal to 1. Apologize. On this no tasks, we want it to equal 0. So we'll do that. And again, condition. We're just setting this task documents, number of items equal to 0. Okay. This would be beneficial. Like if you just wanted to see a list of dates, right? Everything else. So whenever you query documents, you're only going to get the documents that do exist. So this provides you with maybe an overview, like a monthly view, a schedule view of dates that also have documents associated with them. So I utilize this in a side app where I'm scheduling questions to be sent out to users, and each question goes out on a specific date. And I just want to see if I have questions set for that date or not. So I have all the days in the future. I do some conditional visibility on this because this month view is just going to showcase all the dates within that month. They're not like, it doesn't start at today. So we can do some conditional visibility here that states, hide this, right? We can hide this single condition. So current month, date time format. Let's see. That is, now I have that. So let's see. Let's just say no further changes. Okay. And let's do greater than or equal to current time. We're doing a lot of things. We're making a lot of changes and then expecting those changes to work. So we'll see. This should start. What that's doing is it should hide everything that comes before today. So whereas our test mode, where is our test mode? Did I close that window? I gotta close that window. Our test mode, yeah, is showcasing all of the dates. So we're getting the whole month. We have some February dates in there because it's showcasing everything, right? If we wanted to do a grid view and really a calendar, the custom function we have currently works really well for that. All right, cool. So we have our indexes at least. Let's do that. Let's see if our month view works. So 2, no, this isn't. We need to update this because it's not reflecting our current changes. So current month item greater than or equal to current time. Dimitar, it's okay. You haven't missed much. I've been basically fumbling. So, and we're not showcasing our tasks. Man, our due date. Maybe it is our due date, Carol, because our due date is just not showcasing. Just nothing. All right. So now we're getting. This is working. This is great. Oh, come on. We're just going to keep this. This is amazing. Friday, March 8th. It's Friday, March 8th here in Texas. I think in most parts of the world, Friday, March 8th, we have one task here, right? We have a task here, no tasks. We have another task here on Tuesday, March 1st or March 12th. Nice. So we got this to work. We got it to work. Let's just remove this week view. Let's pretend like we didn't spend 40 minutes putting something together that doesn't work. That's the great thing about building and live building, right? Not tutorials. Just come build functional things with Andrew. Okay. So what we can do, this is going to be a lot more beneficial than just seeing a number count, right? We're already querying documents. All right. So what we can do is on each of these are generated dynamically, right? Based off of the current month view. And so what we can do is each of these containers is a single element. So it's one date. So what I would want to do is I want to wrap this row in a column. Okay. And I want to showcase some of the dates that are present. I don't just want to see the number here. I want to see the actual tasks. So let's add a little bit of padding here. And then we can do we can do a little guy here, right? And actually I want a column because what I want to do is I want to just, I guess we're going to have two columns or a list view and a column. So, all right, there's that. And here in this column, let's go ahead and left align. I'll add some padding here. Yeah, 16, 12, and I'll say current tasks. And what I'm doing is I'm going to generate children right here that just has the task name. So again, and I'll just do, body large, do 16, and then I'll wrap this in a row so I can give it a little bit of padding. And that way we have a little more clickable area. So there's that. In that list view, let's just go ahead and dynamically generate. So tasks, day tasks. Okay. And we're going to grab them from this document. All good. Boom. Okay. And since we're querying the documents, current month item, let's see. Sorry, day tasks. Yes, look at there. We have, since we're querying documents, we actually have access to the day task items. We have the name of the task here. Let's go ahead and make this our label medium. Let's remove some of this spacing that we have now. That was just for layout. So now we have our date, right? We have a container with our date, with the day. We have the number of tasks, and then we're going to showcase the tasks here for each day, which will be cool. Hopefully that made sense. Dude, I don't know what happened last week when we didn't do the live stream, but for some reason I'm seeing 300 people on the live stream this morning. So I'm sure we have a lot of new builders, and I hope that this all makes sense. Again, all right, cool. So we have this new live stream task, current task, new task. We obviously need some dividers. We need some UI here, right? This UX is not very good. It's like you built it in 5 minutes on a live stream, but that's really cool. So we have those. Let's go ahead and add some styling, right? So we can do. Let's go ahead and add a box shadow. We're going to give it our alternate. We'll do 1 and 0 blur. This is just going to add a little line, a little divider underneath there. So it's a little hack. FlutterFlow or Flutter in general does not allow for. Flutter doesn't allow independent borders. So this is just a little hack we're going to have to do in order to do that. And then we could also provide a little more. Well, also here, what we'll do is we'll alternate our days. So let's grab our container here. And what we'll do is we'll set our fill color based off of if the index is even or not. Oh, let's see if I can do that. Let's see. Anybody know how to do that in code? If if current month item, no. Let's see. If task document item at index. Yep. Specific index. So can we do odds here? Is there a way to do random data, random integer? No. There's a code expression, right? There's probably a code expression. Well, anyways. Index. Anybody have any examples or ideas in the chat? Okay. Let's see. Answering any questions. Month view. Solving. All right. For the month view, might be cool to add a sticky widget with each. Yes. You could add. Austin, you're right. This is a great. You could add a sticky widget with the month name at the very top. You can do that, and it does work. Actually, that's exactly what I did in that example app that I talked about. All right, specific index, item at index, first, last. I wish we had even or odd here. We're not doing a data table widget, so never mind. We're just gonna forget about that. We can do it. It just requires a custom function or a code expression, and I don't know how to logically think about that right now. So in this row, we will do a small container, and we'll add some padding here and here, and we'll give it a border, or actually we'll get a fill color of like our primary, and that will just give us the ability to sort of see. We're gonna just do our row, do a little border radius of 8, and in that list view, we'll do our item spacing of 4. So this will just provide a little bit more differentiation of current tasks. I think it's getting lost right now in all of the hibbly-jibbly that we have, but this is currently working. And I think this is accomplished. I thought the week view was going to be easier to accomplish. Totally not easier for whatever reason. This month view is definitely giving us a better, it probably has to do with my custom function that I'm doing to get the week view. So anyways, let's go ahead and see this baby in action with updated UX, UI. Yeah. Okay. let's see. Joseph Carmen has a code expression number. Joseph, thank you guys. Both Josephs, man, you guys are coming through better than certain Joseph in Bethlehem. All right, current index number not equals 0. All right, I'm going to try that. Let's go to our view here. Month, perfect. Yes. Let's go ahead and add a new task, huh? Let's see what that looks like. So in our tasks, we're going to create a task, brand new task, and we're going to select a due date of tomorrow. This is really great. It's our live stream. You could add new categories here. Somebody was just asking for like tags and stuff. Like this could essentially be tags, but yeah, we'll just do that. Live stream, create task. Perfect. Now we should have, I'm just going to default there. Look at that, brand new task. Awesome. Perfect. We could definitely improve this UI, but it gives us essentially what we need. So we could make this a calendar view, like we could, like this view, we could just port over to this month view. I think this week view sucks. We're just going to, let's go ahead and remove that. How does that sound? I just go ahead and maybe just copy and paste this. I'm going to copy and paste this container. Right, where's my month view? Month view, column, container. Yes, list view. All right, we're just going to do that. I'm going to remove this tab bar. Just do that. And what we can then do, good, I'm so glad I'm actually showcasing this screen. We can do the current month up here. So upcoming tasks, right? We could drag it in there. Let's go ahead and wrap that in a column. And we're going to differentiate, right? This is not as important. Upcoming tasks is probably important. We're just going to get our current month. So let's go ahead and do that. Select a day. Now we're going to do current time, obviously. Current time and date time format. And then, you're going to have to give me a second because this is a custom format. Like we don't have the month name, just the month name up here. It's actually custom and I have it in another project. So give me a second to figure that out. Or if somebody has the, what I need, right? I just need a custom format. So I think it's like, there. Anybody have it? You guys were right on it with the code expressions, which we will try eventually. Okay, schedule MMM. All right, MMM. That's what it is. Cool. All right. We'll just deploy this. Perfect. All right, Firestore indexes are deployed. We've just done this. Another thing we could do, right, is we could provide a little more padding on these guys. We'll do 8. And then we obviously you want to click in and you want to view the details of these tasks. So let's go ahead and navigate to task details. We can pass our parameters. And again, we get these documents. So we get the day task item. That should be the document reference, which will be fun. So now we can click in and see that, we were going to just showcase the date. Oh, well, yeah. Well, so you can make a little calendar, right? You can do it just like Apple Calendar or whatever. You have this month view. You have your date time sort of in a block up here. It'd be pretty fun. We could also just we could really improve the UI. So please forgive me that this is not beautiful or incredibly beautiful. True if odd. Okay. All right. Joseph, thank you guys for that Boolean logic here. we need to expand this, but we should be able to view the individual tasks now as well, which is very nice. And we get this, we'll expand this, no shrink wrap, and we get a very nice scrollable, yes, we get a nice scrollable list view, which is in accordance with best practices. So now we get this ability to scroll. And these, so another thing, so here's March, yeah. Mar. Ooh, what is the full? Maybe it's like MM. That's, or MMM, maybe that. Probably MMM. That would make sense, I think. So we can do March. But yeah, I mean, this is essentially what you want. Get into the edit tasks, right? And then this is sort of an interaction I did the other day. Very cool underlay example. We completed tasks. There you go. And we could check off tasks, right? We could showcase a, we could showcase a check off mark here if the status equals complete, which is nice. But I think this works. Hopefully, CFC Harry, I hope that this solves your issue. Another way, well, we're over now, but this custom function that we're doing for the month is actually sort of perfect. Like, I will share this project within the YouTube link so you can have it. But this this custom function would actually, you could do a grid view, a custom month view for the grid, and you could basically create a custom calendar widget directly from this, because it is showcasing sort of those, the days in February and the days in April, even with like my current month view. So and then you could just do some dynamic styling like we did, to fade out the days that are not in the current month, which would be cool. So yeah, I'm oh, sorry, sharing the screen. This month view, this custom function, I'll share this project. You guys can have access to it, because it's just a sample project. So I think it even has maybe some responsiveness to it beyond navigation, but yeah, you should have stuff. This calendar, we could do calendars here. We could make this responsive. Maybe next live stream we'll do that. But I think this works. Thank you guys for reaching out. And there was a slew of questions on Twitter about, how do you set up projects, and how do you get started in FlutterFlow? Where do I start as a builder in FlutterFlow? I will tell you constantly. I mean, okay, this is a very nuanced question. When I'm building for myself and I'm building ideas for myself, I typically just start in FlutterFlow. When I build, or when my agency Clear Design builds for clients, we typically start in Figma, and our process has grown and deteriorated in Figma, grown in FlutterFlow. But we'll basically take an initial pass at the design in Figma. We'll do a user flow document. So this is typically a thumbnail wireframe where you lay out all of the screens. You have everything created. All the screens and the flow of the application. So you know what screens you create. They're thumbnail wireframes, so they don't require a lot of effort. You're not doing high fidelity designs like this. You're drawing boxes, but you have a pretty keen idea on what exists on each page. And then from that, we can implement stuff into FlutterFlow. So if I have a FlutterFlow builder on the team that can do that, that's what I'll do if they're a senior level. If not, then we'll take those, turn them into Figma designs, do the initial pass in Figma, implement everything in FlutterFlow, and then we'll just make changes in FlutterFlow. We'll iterate through the dev cycle all within FlutterFlow. So that's one process that we take at Kaleo. I'm not working there full time, so I don't have a whole lot of insight into that. But that would be the ideal process. I think it's very important for anybody building applications to have some sort of roadmap of features or functions that are required. some user stories, some Notion board that lays out what is required in an application. And it typically helps to have some detail on what features and then also like what things to display on a screen. So, that's where those thumbnail wireframes come in handy because, a task in Notion will say, I need a calendar view of a list of dates and tasks. It's like, okay, well, like that gives me maybe three data points and no design inspiration. So having a UX designer come in and wireframe this, right, with a little date and a number and a block and another block, can really help the developer or the designer that comes in and actually does the high fidelity stuff to understand what it takes to actually make this a successful screen. So anyways, hopefully that works. Joseph, this is another one. Yes, and Joseph was the one that asked that question on Twitter. Where do I go for inspiration for app design? Dribble a bunch. Layers is a new one. And they have dark mode, which I know it's something to say. I only say it because I typically look for inspiration early in the morning or late at night, and having dark mode is very beneficial for that. Dribble sometimes burns my eyes. But yeah, layers. Mobbin is a really good one. But I typically go to Dribble. Dribble, Mobbin, and Layers are all the places I go to get inspiration for app design and for features, both for mobile and for FlutterFlow stuff. I look at competitors. Mobbin has screenshots from almost every single app on the App Store. So if you need to figure out how to do a settings page or a list view page or a book ride page, or like book a trip page, Mobbin has them from Lyft and from Uber and from any other ride sharing app in the world. Typically they have those in screenshots on their site. So it's very beneficial to help understand what do other people include on a certain page. So that's really cool. Carol, like I said, I'm sorry. I can't announce any features. We have this whole new process at FlutterFlow. So you guys will have to wait. You will have to wait. You'll have to wait till later today. There are some big features coming. They're really fun. A lot of them, some of them have been really asked for from a lot of our users, and they will help you develop faster. That's all I can say. I don't want to get donked, we're growing as a company. I mean, if this live stream is, I don't know if this number is, I don't know if Restream is like boasting the numbers, or it says they have 324 people on this live stream, which is the largest we've ever had. So I hope this works for all the new people joining. And yeah, we're growing as a company and as a community. So I think things like this are going to be more and more beneficial. So there will be documentation for the new features. Yes, we have videos. We have video tutorials and documentation present for the new features coming out. So hopefully there will be less bugs, less unknowns when people actually install those things or utilize them. So yes, join us next week. Hopefully we'll be back to join me, and we can build something else awesome. I know that it's been requested to build an Uber clone or something else. We did build an Airbnb clone, more or less, in some of the live streams. So that's been cool. I'm not a developer, and so building things that require a lot of code and a lot of custom code, even though possible and quite easy if you're a developer in FlutterFlow, not necessarily. You have to utilize code. I'm very adverse to it, so I apologize. Even this little index thing. I'll try to utilize your guys' references for the code expressions, and we'll get alternating colors for each date here. But yeah, thank you again for joining, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Please reach out if you have any questions or you'd like us to cover something. I know that some people on Twitter had asked for more advanced tutorials and everything. Right now, we're just trying to get tutorials for everybody. We're beginning. You have to start somewhere, so we're doing the beginners. And this live stream is to address those advanced topics, hopefully. I do it from a UI UX perspective. So anyways, thank you guys, and I'll see y'all